Example 5 is kind of weird. There's no picture given to it, just a bunch of words. Specifically, they give me the volume of a cylinder is this weird looking number. And then it says the height is 43. And then it wants to know what is the diameter of its base. So it's just a backwards problem, but it is still talking about cylinders. So I am still going to use the formula we've been working with, pi times r squared times h. And I'm just going to plug in what I know. So the first number I know is 9675 pi. That is the volume, which means I'm going to plug it in for the letter V, because the volume is that number, so V is that number. The height is 43, so I'll plug that in for H. And those are the only numbers I know. So I'm just going to rewrite everything else. So we've got this weird looking equation, but it's an equation that we can solve. We can figure out how to get r by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that times 43. The opposite of multiplying by a 43 is to divide by a 43. And if I put, I'm going to ignore pi for a second. If I put 9675 divided by 43 into my calculator, it gets me 225. Now I ignored pi, it's still there. It's kind of like an x. I can divide the numbers, but the variable is still there. So on the right hand side, pi is still there, r squared is there. Let's deal with that pi. When we do pi r squared in our calculator, we have to multiply by pi. So again, the opposite of multiplication is division. Let's just divide both sides by pi. Both sides have a pi, so they cancel. Anything divided by itself, just like here, will cancel out. So the left side is 225. The right side is r squared. We're so close to knowing what the radius is. It's just been squared. The opposite of squaring a number is to square root it. So if I put the square root of 225 into my calculator, 15 is what comes out. Now remember, plus or minus 15, which doesn't make any sense. You cannot have a negative distance. So when we talk about what our radius is, we'll just say it is 15 meters, which is not what was asked for. It wants diameter. So that would be like, we've got the cylinder, and we know the height, we know its volume, we know distance from center to edge, but I want to know what's the diameter. So remember, if radius goes from center to edge, diameter instead goes from one edge straight across to the other edge. So you could think about making a pit stop in the middle, but you would have a 15 on one side and a 15 on the other side, which means the diameter is 15 plus 15. So in this problem, our diameter is 30 meters. So it's kind of a weird problem. It's weird because it's got big numbers, it's working backwards, but it's just basically plug stuff in and solve equations, because we know how to solve equations. Speaking of weird things, 6 is weird. It kind of flows into number 7. I lied. We're going to put number 6 in the next video because 6 and 7 are very related. So stay tuned for more learning.